boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. It would seem that so soon after her second professional loss to Shannon Ryan, Chloe Watson is set to return to action one more time before this year is out against India's own Kamaljit Kaur in what is a light flyweight contest scheduled for 4 rounds. So it would seem that not only is Chloe set to return to action, she's set to move down in weight. 2 divisions south of where the Shannon Ryan fight just took place, sporting a professional record of 8 wins with 2 losses and no draws, no recorded knockouts, having never been knocked out in 10 professional bouts. In spite of the 2 losses, Chloe remains one of the better fighters anywhere at or around these weights. It's just that when good fighters are fighting other good fighters, somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose.
Kamaljit Kaur.
Kamaljit sports a professional record of 3 wins with 1 loss and no draws, 1 recorded knockout, having never been knocked out in 4 professional bouts. From India, the fighters that hail from that region usually service as punching bags for more high-profile fighters, in this instance, Chloe Watson. Kamaljit was last in action in April of this year, winning a split decision over Wan Chi YK. She actually has 2 fights on the docket, 2 fights on schedule, one at the end of this month against unbeaten Frances Heath, then the one with Chloe in December. And you can tell right away, a fighter that schedules 2 fights back-to-back? Usually that's what gatekeepers do. Usually that's what journeywomen do. Really not giving yourself the best chance at victory counting your chickens before they're hatched. How do you schedule a fight with Chloe when you haven't won the fight yet with Frances?
Chloe Watson.
Chloe's suffered defeats to Jasmina Sapotoczna of Poland and her countrywoman Shannon Ryan. And those are good fighters, very good fighters, some of the best anywhere at or around these weights. But I think the Shannon Ryan loss was the hardest. The contest was halted inside the distance due to a massive hematoma that was forming over Chloe Watson's eye, and it really didn't help that she was already losing the fight. Perhaps if the aesthetic were different and it were Chloe piling up the points and piling up the rounds, they wouldn't have waved it off.
That wasn't the case.
She was losing. She had a massive speed bump forming on the side of her face, and so she's suffered her second loss. For the second time this year. She started it off losing to Jasmina Sapotoczna, but she means to end the year on a high and in the winner's bracket. I think she will beat Kamaljit. Moving down to the light flyweight division, it is interesting because in truth, the talent pool isn't any more shallow at light flyweight than it is at superfly or fly. Those are all deep divisions, and so is light flyweight. At light flyweight, you have reigning WBC champion Lourdes Juarez, and you have unified champion Evelyn Bermudez. To where winning a title in the light flyweight division isn't any easier than it was at superfly or fly. It's difficult down there too, so why move down? She's likely to have a height advantage and a reach advantage over the girls that are there, that are slightly smaller than Chloe. Might also be for a power boost, too. Sky Nicholson just did the same thing. After the loss to Tiara Brown at 126, she moved down to 122, and at 122, looks like she's punching harder and landing with more authority, but what it is that the girls are smaller.
That's why it looks like that.
Now, Chloe hopes to benefit from the same thing, and as stated, light flyweight is just as deep as those other weights. She can get herself back in the winner's bracket in December. I expect her to. She might even score her first professional knockout against Kamaljit. As stated, a lot of those girls that come from India, a lot of them are punching bags. It's good though. It's good that Chloe Watson is getting back on the saddle and trying to get back in the winner's bracket before this year is out, ending the year on a high, not letting the loss sit and fester. She's already putting distance between herself and what has been a rough start to the year. It's kind of like what you see from Kim Clavel. After Kim lost 1 or 2 times, she didn't sit around waiting. She got right back in there, right back out there. Joseph Parker, same thing. The sooner you put distance between yourself and a loss, the sooner it becomes a distant memory. That's what Chloe hopes to do in December. It's also important to note that this upcoming show is not a Wasserman Promotions show. The registered promoter is Mark Bateson. Until this point, Chloe Watson has been promoted by Wasserman, primarily boxing on Wasserman shows. It looks like she's not with them
anymore, and it looks like neither is Josh Kelly. At least not exclusively, per Dan Raphael and his sources. On Monday night, a deal was made for a fight between IBF junior middleweight champion Bakram Murtazaliev and mandatory challenger Josh Kelly. Tuesday's purse bid has been cancelled. Fight supposed to go down in January 31st at a site to be determined in England. Matchroom Boxing will promote the fight. A light at the end of the tunnel for the registered bogeyman of the junior middleweight division, who has sat out the entirety of this year after his crushing victory over Tim Kazoo.
Such a thing as being too good for your own good, and that applies to Bakram Murtazaliev, who might defend his title either January 21st or the 31st in the United Kingdom, now that Matchroom is at the helm of the promotion. Somebody had to take control, because Main Events, who promotes Bakram Murtazaliev, doesn't have a broadcast partner and thus doesn't have any money, and Vazirman, while a well-to-do and experienced promotional outfit, they don't have the same resources as a Matchroom.
Same budget, same money, same juice.
Now, up until this point, Vazirman was involved in the negotiations, so they were going to try to do it.
Yeah, they were trying.
But no dice. So now Eddie and Matchroom are going to step in. They're gonna do it. And the word per Dan Raphael via his sources is that Josh Kelly is no longer with Vazirman. He's back with Matchroom now, who he used to be with some years ago.
Matchroom's got options on him. I think Matchroom's got options on the winner.
Not just Josh Kelly. I'm pretty sure if Bakram wins the fight, they will have options on him. What do they hope to do with a Bakram Murtazaliev, who's not necessarily marketable because there's a language barrier and he's a hot potato? He's a bogeyman. What would Matchroom want with him?
A Boots Ennis fight. More specifically, a Boots Ennis unification match.
Because the way it usually works, Matchroom has options on the winner, whether the winner is Josh Kelly or Bakram Murtazaliev. Why would they want to put on a fight for Josh that he probably doesn't win?
Why?
Boots Ennis, who they are invested in, who they aspire to deliver the undisputed crown, and a part of that is fighting Backrub.
Part of it.
Now they're putting on this fight. And if you're not familiar with Josh Kelly, a GB Olympian, a standout amateur, though a not-so-great professional, he's a finesse fighter, Josh Kelly. He's a stick-and-move guy, fence-and-fiddle guy.
Not big on power, big on movement, big on X's and O's.
Yeah, he was already promoted by Matchroom some years ago, back when he was an unbeaten fighter. But after he got destroyed by David Avanesian in the men's welterweight division, they parted ways. He went to Vazirman, now he's back. Now he's about to get destroyed again. I think he's about to get destroyed. I think Backrub is gonna steamroll him.
He is gonna Josh his Kelly. He's gonna fuck him up.
Real nice, and once again announce himself to the boxing world. He did that in America last year with Tim Kazoo. He's about to do it again next year with Josh Kelly. I don't know that Eddie Hearn watches this channel or adheres to the counsel that I provide. I just know that there's been a lot of talk about Boots versus Ortiz in the coming calendar year. I think Eddie knows that you can't bank on Golden Boy delivering that fight. Virgil could always come down with some mysterious illness or some kind of an injury following the Erickson-Lubin fight that he's about to have early next month. You can't bank on that fight with Ortiz happening. And if it doesn't,
show must go on. You put Boots in the ring with the Boss Baru in the first quarter of next year. You take care of this Kelly versus Murtazaliev fight, and then you have the winners fight each other. I think that Eddie trusts, like I trust, that Boots can beat a Boss Baru. Stylistically, a Boss Baru is tailor-made for him.
made to order.
So that when he makes it past him, he can move straight into the fight with the winner of Murtazaliev versus Kelly, that I anticipate is going to be Murtazaliev.
Bakram Murtazaliev, I don't know that Eddie Hearn watches this channel, but this is what I recommended for Boots. Do what Virgil Ortiz didn't do. If you can't get him in the ring next year, for whatever reason, do what he didn't do. Beat him to a world title, unify this division, and make him look bad that way.
It's what I recommended for Boots, what I recommended for Bakram.
Reach a co-promotional deal with somebody who actually has a broadcast partner. Kathy Duva can't make money from a fighter she can't get any fights for. At least if you co-promote him, you can make something.
Matchroom is co-promoting Bakram.
Not exactly. I believe the way they did it, they have options on the winner. And if Bakram is the winner, they may have options on him for at least one fight, which is all they need him for.
One fight. Just one. The Boots fight.
Matchroom has already announced the series of fights they mean to do before this year is out, and they've already got it locked and loaded for the coming calendar year as well, which is encouraging. Seemingly asserting their independence from Turkey El Al-Sheikh and all he means to do, not that he's doing something bad.
No, not necessarily.
But promoters gotta promote. More importantly, you need to populate the regular schedule of fights. They can't all be mega matches. They can't all be pay-per-views. If you're doing Kelly versus Murtazaliev, I'd wager that's not gonna be a pay-per-view. And that's what boxing needs.
Busy schedule, a regular schedule.
This is how Matchroom can assert dominance over their once competition, PBC and Top Rank.
Used to be their biggest competition.
At a time where PBC is not doing anywhere near as many shows as they used to, and what they do is largely on pay-per-view, and Top Rank are out of the running until they get a new broadcast partner, this is the time to strike. The time to take over. Service the boxing fans in all the ways that PBC and Top Rank aren't. There's been a lot of gripes about how many fights are being billed as box office fights, pay-per-views, not just Turkey shows, but Frank Warren's too.
Itauma versus White.
This past weekend's fight with Fabio Wortley versus Joseph Parker, the kind of fight that Matchroom not that long ago would have given you away.
Matchroom!
This is how you get a leg up on them. Fortify the regular schedule of fights so that anytime an American's watching a fight or a Brit is watching a fight, they're watching a Matchroom fight. A Matchroom show.
Matchroom!
Let's get it.
I want that fight. You know, I do. I want that Itauma fight. I think that'd be a great fight. If everyone wants to know if he's ready for Usyk or not, look at me. I'm a lefty. I'm a heavyweight. I move a lot. I have pressure. I punch a lot. Let's see how it goes, man. You know, like I understand that he wants those belts and stuff like that, but we're both young heavyweights. We're both at it. We're both active. We're both, you know, willing and able. I don't think he ducked that fight. I'm not gonna duck that fight. I would love to have that fight. Whoever hops upon, I'm cool with, and let's put some action together, man. I know the UK fans are amazing people. They're amazing fight fans. The USA will definitely get behind me on that one as well. I say that's a great fight. I want to make happen and make happen quick. Man, you know, it's weird because like outside the ring, I feel like I'm pretty passive guy, you know. But I was talking to some of my friends about this. Like inside the ring, if you put a baby in there, I'm gonna punch the baby, man. Like it's like I'm about it, man. Like I really am. Like if there's an obstacle in my way or there's something like going that's I just love the sport, man. I love being in there. I love that battle, that gladiator, that warrior aspect of it. And I'm gonna continue to do that. And whenever I step in that ring, it's no more nice person, you know. Like I'm gonna go for blood. I remember it was when I fought that the guy in Oklahoma and I knocked him out for a couple minutes, and I punched him after he was already out, like because he was falling and I kept hitting. I didn't think I was ever gonna be that guy. You know, I thought I was gonna be the guy that would try to like hold him and like bring him to the ground and be like, oh no, we're all. And I'm not. But understanding that no, this is that type of mentality that you need to be at the top of the level. It's kind of like freeing a little bit, and it helps me know that like now we're about that life, you know, and we are.
No, I believe Richie. I believe he is. Richard Torres is 13-0. Moses Itauma is 13-0. Richard Torres is a southpaw. Moses Itauma is a southpaw.
Moses Itauma has 11 recorded knockouts. Richard Torres has 11 recorded knockouts.
So why is the reception for Richard here in America not akin to the reception for Moses in the United Kingdom? In the United Kingdom and
other parts of the world, Moses Itauma is regarded as the best thing smoking and the leader of the new school.
Is the reception not the same? Why doesn't Richie have the buzz around him that Moses has around him, even though on paper their records are identical? Well, I say it all the time.
What?
There's more to boxing than what you see on paper. Richard is promoted by Top Rank, and Top Rank right now is without a broadcast partner, though he does have a fight coming up next month on the 15th on the undercard of Espinoza versus Kagai, south of the border.
Richie fought 4 times last year, and he will have fought 2 times this one provided he fights on the 15th.
2 fights this year, the same as Moses Itauma. Why is the reception not the same? Well, as stated, Richard is promoted by Top Rank, and Top Rank right now is without a broadcast partner. There's that to consider. And there is also the lukewarm reception in America to boxing. The boxing fans here in the United States are not as receptive and not as supportive as the boxing fans in the UK.
It's a tougher crowd.
And America's stake in the heavyweight division has been little more than diminished returns over the last few years. They had held out hope that Deontay Wilder would be the next great American heavyweight. All he was a punching bag for Tyson Fury. The heavyweight division is very much an international division where America doesn't have that many prized stallions, save Richard Torres.
He wants to fight Moses Itauma. That ain't gonna happen.
I mean, not no time soon. Not next, not after next. Both Moses and Richard are developing as fighters, fight by fight, to where even weighing in on what their fight might look like, it's premature. It's too soon right now. Richard is just as much a knockout merchant as Moses Itauma. Their quality of competition isn't actually that different.
It's not that different. Moses does have that win over Dillian White, and Dillian is a more high-profile fighter than anybody Richard fought.
But Dillian White aside, their quality of competition isn't actually that different. Why do so many people have so much more faith in Moses Itauma than they have in Richard Torres?
The eye test, I think. I think it's the eye test.
Moses is a little taller and a little longer than Richard Torres. Richard Torres in today's heavyweight division seems a pocket-sized, moderately sized heavyweight.
Moses is a little bigger, little taller, little longer.
You can liken Richard's style to what you used to see from Smokin' Joe Frazier, to some extent Mike Tyson, a pocket-sized heavyweight that fights at a slight crouch, barreling forward, throwing looping shots over the top, and big hooks on the inside. He's got quite the work rate, Richard Torres.
It's hard, too.
But if people aren't beaming with confidence over his methodology, it's because they feel he's a little bit too aggressive, too offensive, that barreling forward the way that he does, he might get himself knocked out.
Eye test.
Which hardly makes the skeptics Nostradamus. Anybody can knock out anybody in the heavyweight division, but if people aren't as confident in Richard as they are in Moses, that would be why.
Well, Richard has some of the same things working for him that Moses does. That Richard is fast on his feet, and he's got fast hands, with power.
Bit of speed in today's heavyweight division of lumbering lummoxes can go a long way. In a division where it's all about who lands first and who lands hard, having a bit of speed can make a big difference.
Richie wants Moses Itauma. I think it's too soon to tell how these two fighters will develop. They both have unanswered questions, and it's far too soon to tell who would beat who if they fought. Mostly because they're not about to.
Left to the imagination.